There aren't many meals out there that better fit the description all American food than the meatloaf. It's always been one of my favorites ever since I was a kid. But rather than looking up recipes every single time you want to make a meatloaf, just remember the simple ratio: for every 1 pound of meat, use 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, and 1 cup of breadcrumbs. To get started, we need to pre-cook the vegetables, and you can use whatever vegetables you like. I'm just using a traditional mixture of onions, celery, and carrots. And this is an important step because the vegetables soften up at around 180, and if the meatloaf itself gets much past 145, it's going to be dried out. So after setting those aside to cool, place 1 cup of panko breadcrumbs into a food processor to break them apart. Then crack 1 egg into a mixing bowl and whisk it up to combine the white and yolk together. Then toss in the cooled down vegetables along with the breadcrumbs and 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm using a pre-made seasoned salt myself, but you can use this or kosher salt, that's up to you. Mix all of this together until it's fully combined, then plop in 1 pound of ground beef and mix everything together until it's fully homogeneous. But don't overwork this once the beef is added. That will result in a tough, dried out meatloaf. Then grab a sheet tray and place down a layer of parchment paper on top. Then unload the meatloaf onto the tray and begin shaping it out into a loaf. Try to make it into an even thickness throughout and work out any little bumps and imperfections that might be there. Although it is meatloaf, and an imperfect meatloaf is still a perfect meatloaf, so just do your best here. And after this, you want to let the meatloaf rest for about 20 minutes, and this is going to allow the binders, being the breadcrumbs and the egg, to do their work. And with this, you'll get clean, uniform slices that don't fall apart. And after resting, place the meatloaf into a preheated 400-degree oven, and since I'm doing a 1-pound meatloaf, it's going to take 30 to 35 minutes, as where a 2-pound meatloaf might take 40 or 45, so just keep an eye on it either way. And in the last 15 minutes, you can glaze the top, and I'm just using a traditional glaze made of ketchup, brown sugar, and apple cider vinegar. Make sure to get all the nooks and crannies around all the corners while you're at it, then place it back into the oven to finish cooking. And sometimes I like to turn on the broiler in the last 5 minutes or so to brown up the glaze even more. I didn't do that for this particular meatloaf, but if you really like a caramelized top, go for it. And I should mention, after taking the meatloaf out of the oven, you want to let it rest for a few minutes before slicing into it. And speaking of slicing into it, let's get a good look at these clean and cohesive slices you get from doing it this way. And there you have it, a simple and delicious meatloaf that anyone can make on any weeknight. But if you wanted to go in another direction with this, maybe an Italian style meatloaf, mix some basil, oregano, and thyme into the mixture. Or let's say you wanted to make a Southwest style meatloaf. For that, add some jalapenos, coriander, and cumin into the mixture, and when you're making your glaze, use some adobo sauce from a can of chipotle chilies. And by the way, this ratio, it also works great for meatballs, so let me know what you think of this recipe in the comments.